Alright, let's start the show. Greetings and welcome to Die Dragon Die presents Enter the Dungeon, our Pathfinder 2 campaign. I'm joined by the full Ontario crew, Mark, Adam, and Ahmed. How is everyone doing tonight on this fine...
Doing good there, bud. Doing good.
Doing good there, bud?
Yeah,
Doing good there, bud. I'm feeling a little beat up because I am losing the weight that I gained while I was in Sudbury and still trying to get contest ready. So I'm at one more day of not enough food and still training, and then I'm going to rest, and then I'm going to eat a lot and train a few more days. So.
That's awesome. I'm doing the same thing there, bud. Well, I'm not trying to like win a contest. I'm just trying to stay alive.
That is the real contest, isn't it?
It is. Just don't have a heart attack. That's
yeah. No, I was pushing a pickup truck in a gravel pit today, and somebody accidentally left it in park. And I pushed pretty hard to get the truck moving, and I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't go. So it was
weakling.
So my yeah, my mid back is more tired than it's supposed to be, but that's okay. D&D's fun.
Hey, Foxfire, how's it going? So,
Fox, how you doing?
Fox on Discord, I think yesterday, told us that he has watched all of the backstory, like all 4 episodes already.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. I also told him that, Ahmed, you appreciated there being a lawful neutral war god in the Pantheon.
Yeah.
Because you know what lawful neutral god would have been left had I not created that god?
I'll give you 5 guesses.
A 5-face god. Yeah, Fox is the one that helped me come up with the duality of war, also called the red god of war.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is episode 5, but it's the first one that we've streamed on Twitch because we spent a weekend in Ontario, the 4 of us, hashing through the Pathfinder 2 rules, making characters, bumbling our way through it. We did record the good parts, and you can find episodes 1 through 4, plus a character summary.
And we
on YouTube.
saved you with the monotony of us looking stuff up again.
I'm pretty certain that even the good parts has a few moments of like I remember towards the end there was a section where I read a paragraph and I couldn't say it out loud, but I could read it internally,
right?
And to just give the summary because I couldn't read the words anymore. I was,
we pushed our bodies pretty hard, and it was a hilarious week and a really good 2-week vacation for me. Back to work this week has been a system shock. For sure. But we're back to regular gaming. We did Titan's Gift last night. We're going to do Enter the Dungeon tonight and give you a glimpse of what it feels like to do Pathfinder 2.0, and then we will continue with Dread and Circus on Saturday, or play Enter the Dungeon. I'm not sure what we're going to do on Saturday quite yet. But good to have you guys here. Why don't I do a quick summary of what has happened so far, we did some downtime off camera just because it's not the most exciting thing in the world, or at least deciding what we're going to do with downtime. Maybe I'll run through what it is.
We're trying to figure it out here.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out.
Give us a chance here, boys. It's our first time trying to craft a thing.
Yep. But we spent the last hour doing that. So I think what I'm going to do is kind of reintroduce the characters that each of you are playing, and then... or I'll let you guys talk about your characters and who they are and why you chose them. Apologies, this will be a little bit of repeat from the character intros, episode 0. So why don't we start with Oscar and Alcur. And let me get on the screen who the hell Oscar and Alcur are. Where are their tokens? These are Adam's characters.
All right, so
Go.
So Oscar is an intrepid sort of smuggler. Would be he's a rogue trader, who is operating within this current kingdom. He is a friend of Ptolemy Van Imp. Friend is kind of a questionable term. I actually added a new alias for him, Uncle Dwarf. Because I'm assuming that's more how Ptolemy.
Yeah,
would view him.
Ptolemy's human, and you met him when Ptolemy was like 10.
So he's like Unky Dwarf is sort of Oscar's role in this.
Uncle Oscar.
He's a very salt of the earth, greedy, kind of Robbie, morally questionable, but rather orderly man.
Don't forget Chief. He's fucking Chief.
Who would skin the back half of a wolf because somebody might want a wolf ass rug. There's a market there for someone.
A wolf ass rug. That's so gross.
Smash the foot half. Let's just get the back.
All right, so that
Wasting good materials. What's wrong with you?
that's Oscar. Alcur. Who is Alcur?
Alcur is a bookworm, a crafter, a scholar. He is an aloof elf who is like logical and precise, but also happened to kind of miss the fall of his civilization because he was reading a library. So
Now let's just pause there. He's reading a library.
yes,
The whole
not
library.
the first library he's read.
Right.
And he's
most
annoyed that
recent.
they didn't let him read 10 of the books or so. There was this section that they wouldn't let him read, and that annoys him. He is currently going up as a cleric wizard sort of hybrid, and is a magical crafter and worshipper of the Heart of Gold, which happens to be the same god as the greedy kind of evil dwarf. So there's a bit of a dichotomy going there.
Yeah, let's just take a pause there. So the pantheon that I've chosen for this campaign world, the kingdom of Samsil on the world of Runarak, is the pantheon of the new gods, the nameless gods that we've seen in the other campaigns. So far, that is really the only crossover to the other Legends, Demon Watch, Dread and Circus campaign, is that is the pantheon of gods, and all the divine casters and all the characters worship one of these pantheons. So it just happens so that Oscar worships the avarice, greedy, envious side of the Heart of Gold, and Alcur worships the proponent of civilization, shining beacon crafter, generate wealth side of the Heart of Gold, the more goodly, civilized part.
With
Okay.
the yin and yang of freaking capitalism over here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Ahmed, tell us about Bone Crusher and Shadow.
So these are two brothers. Bone Crusher is they're both half orcs. Crusher is the older one. Shadow is the younger. Crusher is the more follow the faith, learned about war, military tactics, rules, still realistic, while Shadow went more wild. They both care a lot for each other. Crusher tries to pull Shadow into his realm of peace, and not peace, but, well, organized war. Shadow likes the chaotic side of war. They poke at each other, but they care a lot for each other. And, yeah, they're brothers.
One's a monk and one's a ranger.
One's a monk, one's a ranger.
I believe Shadow is also the Princess Peach of the early phase of the campaign.
Yeah, the intro
Yes, he
adventure.
was.
The intro adventure was.
Assholes.
Where the fuck is Shadow gone to? I think Ahmed pissed me off with some sort of penis talk one day. I'm like, that's it. One of your characters is going to be the princess.
It was probably over in Sudbury. Every second of the day.
Wait, did I admit that out loud? What?
It was fine. I'm happy with it. It was good.
No, that was good. No, actually, Shadow would have just come busting out of the woods during one of the combat, but in the intro scene for Shadow, He went to the creepy castle with the obvious vampire in it, laughed his way through the encounter, got invited in, went in, and kept on going deeper into the castle, and was told, "Wait here." So he waited. The door closed behind him and locked. And I'm like, well, that was pretty easy.
There's a reason for that. Shadow, the brothers.
The
So
hilarious, sorry,
Go
the
ahead.
hilarious thing is, had it been his other character would have been out in like 2 seconds.
Well, you're right.
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
would have went,
Shadow
"Brah!"
and
The door
monks.
would have exploded, and we learned that.
The monk happens to be the person who can demolish a building in no time flat. Whereas
Bone
the big
crusher,
barbarian with the axe would take hours chopping through a door.
Yep.
Oh,
Monks
funny,
can do that now.
funny,
Monks can do that.
funny stuff.
These guys were in another campaign, and they were Lycans. One was a bear, the other one was a wolf. Shadow was following this guy because he thought this guy might be a Lycan, and he knows that their family bloodline has something to do with that. So he was interested in knowing that.
Yeah, your excuses are too late. You were the princess
It
in the
was
tower.
true.
You're
So
the princess in the tower.
so it's probably good to pause here. Previously, we had played Oscar, Alcur, Bone Crusher, and Shadow, and some other characters that other players had played when we play tested Pathfinder First Edition back in like 2008 when it first came
that's
out.
right.
And we didn't stream it back then because we weren't streaming back then.
We were trying to make Internet D&D go.
Yeah, we were just
any sort of
trying to
fashion.
make Internet D&D go so that we could have our 8-hour conference
At
calls
one
every
point,
Saturday.
I was using Photoshop to draw maps. Like, we're just using Photoshop,
we
like, live
we
drawing
dropped
stuff
a
in
camera.
Photoshop.
We dropped a camera from the ceiling to try to capture like the in-person miniatures in Biomap. Oh, that was so awful! It was so awful.
Oh, on my end,
It
it's
was
like,
bullshit.
the number of times it's like, okay, I backed through the hallway. You're in a closet. The fuck you mean I'm in a closet? Yeah, you're in a closet.
we had
Like,
we had
it's in a closet
shitty
now.
we had shitty die rollers where you could choose the die roll result, and it would look format wise would look like you just rolled. Imagine Modron Bot, where all of us are just hacking in what we want as the result. I didn't know this. About halfway through the campaign, one of my players kind of like accidentally showed me what was going on, and I'm pretty sure he cheated the entire time. It's like cheating at die rolling, so stupid. You know who you are if you're watching. No names. All right. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with these characters. We played through the Curse of the Crimson Throne adventure path and most of the Rise of the Rune Lords, and had a hilarious time with these characters, including the DM NPC is Ptolemy. Ptolemy is a noble. He's a sorcerer of the Aberrant bloodline, and he is absolutely like tortured with nightmares. He's quirky. He's Marty channeling his inner Johnny Depp. Sort of like a la Sleepy Hollow kind of thing, but a little less competent. At least in the beginning. He's weird. And he's been shirking his noble duties at the beginning of this campaign, much to the chagrin of Mark's characters, who were not in the original campaign, but I really like these two that are coming up. Mark, you want to introduce Darian and Krieger?
All right. Well, we got Darian here. He's a paladin, and I picked paladin because I've never played a paladin in Marty's campaign before, in any campaign before, because the first campaign I played in, and I'm talking second edition, Marty abused the paladin in the party. I'm not kidding, he made the player cry. And I said to myself, I am never playing a paladin with Marty.
That will not be me.
No, the thing is, the paladin chose the easy route to solve the big ass evil
yes, he did.
thing by using the evil artifact to stop a shadow swarm, actually.
Yes.
And he thought he was doing good, but I'm like, you realize you used an evil artifact. Yeah, but I'm doing good with it. Look, you used an evil artifact. Your god is not pleased. You feel the connection to your god waning and snapping, and he's like, oh. He turned his head and tear came down his.
He cried.
And then
I'm
cry, you woman.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just acknowledging that emotions, we do attach emotions to our characters, and
My paladin had his character sheet torn in half, chucked to either side of the room.
yes, I do remember that.
Oh yeah.
Nothing to do with paladin stuff. That was just dice being.
The blue alley.
And that was the first. That was the second time I played with Mark. That was Mark was down for a different.
So you're
trip,
saying
and
you came across as a big whiny crybaby?
just a big angry crying gorilla.
Funny. Okay.
Alright,
what were we saying? So Krieger.
So I decided
Darien, yeah.
today, when we were doing the playtest, so okay, this is the time I'm going to try a paladin. See what they're like. And turns out when Pathfinder 2, the final edition, came out, there's no paladins. Well, there's paladins. They're an order of champions. So paladins are still there. It's just a division of the champion class.
Champions can be neutral good, chaotic good, or lawful good. And
Yes, and
paladins
depending on which cause, you get different powers.
depending on which schmaz you're wearing around your wrist, is that?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so he is a no nonsense, down to earth. Things are pretty black and white. Kind of paladin. He is a minor noble, but was never raised with the trappings of wealth or anything, so he doesn't have that sort of. He's got a very practical nature to him.
Right.
The other one is Krieger. He is a giant bro. Is what he is. Short of the speech, but basically, yeah, he's a big bro. He's a big brute. Gronk, he's the happy big guy who likes to help people out, likes building things, gets angry and breaks things, and I think he's the party's. I think he's becoming the party's scare tactic because he hits pretty damn hard, apparently.
Nice.
You've got a striking rune. We
Right.
know where we wanted to go.
So that was a little bit of an intro for the characters. Let me kind of go through what has happened so far in the story. Shadow was missing for some time, and Shadow was actually a friend of Krieger's. Krieger in the village of Sparrow sends a message to Bone Crusher, Shadow's brother, explaining that Shadow's been missing. He's been hunting a great and legendary wolf called the Rebel Prince. And he was gone for all of a winter and part of spring, and with no signs of him, concern was growing. The elders of the Sanitarium of St. Solars basically, Bone Crusher was training at the Sanitarium of St. Solars, which was a few days away in the mountains. And the elders of the Sanitarium also received some messages from a far-off village by the name of Hamlet, and asked Darien to actually deliver these letters to the local lord, the Van Imps. I'll pause there for a moment. Ptolemy's last name is Van Imp. That will be the second tie-in with the Dread and Circus campaign. Darien, being a newly minted paladin at the Sanitarium of St. Solars, decided to accept this mission to deliver the message to the Baron's sons to the Baron's son at the Bone Sparrow Manor. Alcur, who was visiting the Sanitarium and has been basically a permanent fixture for the last 30 years as he read the library.
Bone Crusher and Darien thought he was the librarian.
Yeah.
Right. Alcur was asked to assist, basically, like, hey, dude, you can pitch in. And Bone Crusher obviously wanted to return to Sparrow, which lie at the foot of the Bone Sparrow Manor, to track down his brother. The trio encountered before they left a mad wizard and resident of the Sanitarium, as not all people there are just there to convalesce and to die and to deal with illnesses. Some of them were mentally deranged, and this particular mad wizard was a agent of the enemy. who speaks of fungi and a beautiful lady. You also learned that the monks, for a considerable amount of time, have written down accounts of his interrogations, and that's one of the books in the hidden library, the forbidden library that Alcur was not allowed to access. The trio travels to the Sparrow village, and they meet Krieger before heading to the Bone Sparrow Manor, the historic seat of the Baron of Dire Sylvania, which is the name of the quadrant. We'll get to the world in a second.
Yes, yeah.
Ptolemy and Oscar convince Krieger, Darien, Alcur, and Bone Crusher to play exterminator at Bone Sparrow Manor. So Ptolemy's manor has fallen into great disrepair. There's just Ptolemy, a single manservant, and that's it for this gargantuan palatial place. They reclaim Ptolemy's grandfather's belongings and a carriage and take a quick visit to the hamlet to get horses. The group travels down the Old Forest Road through the dire Sylvan Wood in search for Bone Crusher's brother Shadow. While tracking a fleeing wolf, they encountered some wolves. Oscar and Krieger spotted an ancient road. Upon the road, the band was beset upon by monstrous bats of the dire Sylvan Wood. Further along the road, they are forced to abandon their carriage. On foot, they travel to the end of the road, which is Castle Zargul, the partially ruined castle belonging to the former lord of Dire Sylvania before the Van Imps came. In the castle, they find Shadow, trapped and starving. Soon the castle is surrounded by wolves under the command of the rebel prince, who was a vampiric wolf that was able to glide as well as climb the castle walls, and there was a vicious fight against the rebel prince. They did succeed.
There was a funny fight against the guy we thought was the rebel prince.
Oh yes. You tracked
And
down.
the Benny Hill
You tracked.
music
You tracked down the caretaker of Castle Zargul, who was waiting for his master's return, who happened to be a vampire spawn. You found his coffin and dragged it into the sunlight right before the wolves had come. Realizing that the rebel prince, his spirit would probably reform in some time, as it didn't go into the castle, it actually went into the forest. The party tracks down the rebel prince to its cave, where they confront it. We learned that vampires in 2E regenerate after 1 hour of being in their coffin, not a full day.
That is a problem. That is a problem.
Yes.
Yeah, did not see that one coming.
Yep.
Fox,
So
there was no way for me to make my silvers back.
yes.
There were supposed to be silver profits on those horses.
There were 4 horses that were pulling the carriage. You brought the horses with you to the castle. You lost 3 of the horses. You've got 1 horse. With 1 horse and several of you pushing, you're able to bring the carriage back, laden with your goods and with your noble.
Yamu!
You're able to bring the carriage back down the Old Forest Road. It takes a few days, a little bit of extra time because you don't have the literal horsepower. And then that's the ancient trail, and then up the Old Forest Road. However, you have a decision when you get to the rocky trail that leads up into the mountains towards the sanitarium, or do you continue and drop the carriage off at Ptolemy's at the village of Sparrow first before heading to the sanitarium?
Sanitarium, if we could. We now have... We're going to need more horses, but I would love to pick up my collection.
Are you going to leave the carriage on the road then?
And carry it in carry it in what, man?
In the wagon.
In-
When we find more horses to attach to the wagon.
Exactly. We'll need to leave the wagon here. That's for sure.
So basically, the castle. So here's the old road. Here's the rocky trail that leads up to the sanitarium, and the ancient path I'll draw in gray.
Oh.
The Runt grids, is that the right space?
Yep. I can force
crap.
you guys there.
Map's big, baby.
All right. So the ancient. Oops. That's pretty. That's a thick line there.
Did we mention in the thing that we're on a cube world? Shaped like a cube?
Yeah, what did you learn about the world?
It's shaped like a cube, and the sides are called sides.
And there are 6 sides, aka a cube.
AKA cube, thank you.
And each side is divided into quadrants.
Yes. It's very orderly,
Per-
this cube.
Perfectly square quadrants. Perfectly square.
So,
All right, so
Yes.
there's Castle Zargul. You managed to spend several days going in there, 1 day futzing around, tracking down the wolf's lair, probably that night resting, so that's 3, 4, 5, and then 3 days pushing, another day or two to get to here, that's 7. So when you're here, it's probably would be very difficult, especially without horses, to push that carriage up through the mountain
Yeah.
trails.
That's where it just.
You could just leave it, take the horse with you, and hope that it's still there when you get back, or you could bring it to the Sparrow
take
Village.
it back to the manor.
Okay, you can
Leaving
take it.
this out in the middle of the roads.
You take it all the way
there's
back.
highwaymen out here.
Okay, so what were we at? We were at
7.
3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 days after you left. This is spring. I'll use 90 days per season. This is spring 38. Return to manor. Shadow is rescued.
Yay!
At this point, we've had because we can check once per day on the items. We've basically identified our items.
Yeah, so with the many days of travel, you could have identified your items.
Good.
There are some difficult ones, however, that you may have screwed up on. Let's look at those 5th level items and what the DC is for a 5th level item. A 5th level item is DC 20.
All right.
I believe in you, Adam.
We can't fail by 10
Okay.
if we have aids.
Got it.
So,
What skill do you need for aid?
well, it would be a.
Lore Arcana?
No, I think it's a arcane or it's an arcane or nature or religion check because I think everybody can make that or occultism.
And what's the minimum you need for bonus?
So
for
I have a
aid?
+9 on Alcur.
So Ptolemy has something called General Feat Quick Identification. He can identify magic in a minute or less.
Cool.
So I give you an aid. A
And
sec.
he would be using occultism.
rather than 10 minutes. So it doesn't take too long.
It would be he'd be using arcane.
Yep.
So
got a
I would
plus,
be aiding. I'd be aiding him,
He's got a +9.
and the aid DC is
10?
I don't know.
I
Well, no,
assume
it's
it's
not
10.
It's now the DM decides the aid DC.
Yeah, the DC is 15.
Okay,
For
so
the aid?
Shadow.
The DC of the 8 is 15?
Yep.
Okay, so
Okay,
Shadow helps.
Darian helps, Krieger does not.
And what can we use?
helps. So that's
Religion,
Survival?
nature, No.
that's
Religion.
3 aids, and the aids are is it +1 or +2?
+1.
So that's a +3, so that's a +12. So he doesn't need. Here, I'll just roll it. He doesn't do it. He doesn't critical fumble.
Which means he just doesn't get any proper reading.
Yeah,
right?
like that day. Then it'd be
Yeah.
the next day.
Yeah, okay. I get the mechanic. I think with
Like, I
enough
think-
downtime, you guys are able to identify your items. There's nothing now. The DC does increase by 10 for cursed items.
Right. Well, if there's something
So
cursed in there, you can. Well, we have it on, and you
Yep.
can roll a die behind the screen to tell us whether or not we have a boo boo on our hands.
well, how about this? Taking 10, he gets 19 with aid from Oscar or aid from one person, which it looks
Yep.
like statistically it will happen. You guys can hit 20, and we can just call it
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm totally cool to figure out how curses work.
got it.
I'm assuming it's on Ahmed's character.
All right, so you
I'm
you
hearing
you
this.
you push/pull the carriage with your one horse and some Krieger and bone crusher power
They push /
Yeah,
pull the
yes.
carriage.
all the way back to the Sparrow Village and then to the Bone Sparrow Manor. Or are you just staying?
Oh,
Are you
that's
just staying
gonna
in
take
the
forever.
village? The village you've got houses there. Like Shadow and Bone Crusher live in the village, so just putting the carriage out front, no one's gonna go and take it. They all recognize it as the Lord's carriage too, so it's like, who the hell would you sell it to?
Alright, so, you know your contacts for the horses there?
Yeah.
Do you got any more?
We have to tell them that they were lost.
Oh, we know where they are.
They're not lost, though. I mean, they're...
Yeah, we made hot dogs out of them.
Circle of life. What are you going to do, huh?
They didn't go to waste. Isn't that right, Oscar?
Right, didn't go to waste.
Well, they were tasty, Sis told me.
Okay.
Better than possums.
I really
Lord.
enjoy.
Remember what we were talking about with the cats and the possums, other weird things you eat? Let's add horses to that list of things you don't talk about enjoying.
This list is getting longer by the day.
Oh, it'll just keep getting longer, my lord.
Perhaps you should make a list of things that are acceptable to speak about.
Which list will be longer? Oh, this is difficult.
We
You're
should
telling
probably
me,
write
sir.
things down. Writing it down helps. Helps keep you remembering.
Which part of the horse isn't good to eat?
Any of it, my lord.
Why not?
Nobles don't eat horses.
The great knight Joachim of Gonderblatt, during his siege, he ate his horses last. He had to fight some of his own men who tried to kill his own horse.
Yeah, my lord, he was in a battle, and he was starving, and it was an epic story. You got stuck in the woods, and you ate a horse.
That does seem kind of...
So my hunger doesn't count.
That is correct, my lord.
Oh.
We'll let you know when it does. How about that?
Oh, there are rules.
Yeah, there's definitely rules.
He looks at him very serious. My
Yep.
lord, there are always rules.
always.
He nods and then kind of like fiddles with his spell component pouch and kind of walks over.
Quick show of hands. How many lawful characters we got in this party? I've got 2 of them.
I've got one.
I've got one and one chaotic.
I'm
I
one
think
on the chaos
I think
side.
there's like a severe lawful bent on this party.
Because it's a whole. There's rules. Of course there's rules. Yeah, of course there's rules.
He just kind of goes and stands awkwardly, looking at the looking at the
We're on
carriage.
a cube planet. Of course, that's rules.
So we have found a significant amount of magic, and
Oh,
I've
yes.
been giving it some thought, and I think that we can take the magical writings and place them in places more appropriate.
Rune transference. How fascinating.
Yes, isn't it? Though?
Yes. Need you to work on my bow. Spear is good, but my bow's better.
We'll put runes on your bow, but only if you promise you're not going to run off again. You had us all worried.
Worried
Without
sick.
me. Why don't you come and give me a hug?
Rather, he's giving a big bear hug.
The tentacles are coming out.
No, that's not what I planned for.
Here,
all-
I'll give you a hug, buddy. Big bear hug from Krieger.
From Krieger.
You're getting stronger there.
Oh, I know you love it when you hear your back pop.
He deserves it.
Well, I'll
Such
I don't know
ruffians.
nothing.
He's got a handkerchief. He's waving at you.
Well, Alcur, I don't know nothing about
Hmm.
transferring magic. So, if you need our help for anything, you just give us a call.
I'm going to need the items we want to transfer magic to.
And what would they be?
Your sword, your bow, your axe. Basically, your weapons.
Mm, when do I get it back?
I don't understand the crafting rules yet.
Let me know as soon as I'm done reading the chapter.
I don't know the time part.
Fair enough. But when I ask for it back, I expect it back.
Of course. Of course it'll come back. Yes, you will. You will come back to me, won't you, my precious?
Is that Krieger talking to his new axe?
Yes, it is Krieger talking to his.
The axe has like a bone face, kind of like eating the axe blade, and the bone face currently looks like that of a wolf, or actually the
No,
It
it's
would
the
look
Rebel
like
Prince.
The Rebel Prince.
the Rebel
Yeah.
Prince, which is the vampiric wolf.
Yeah, it looks
It looks
pretty,
like nightmare fuel.
Yes, it does.
It looks pretty badass at this point.
Krieger's
So-
got an idea. He's gonna go find a pretty lady, get her to slap him. And then he's got a pretty face on there.
That works.
Oh,
That works.
I just imagine him paying dominatrixes to make a pretty face and whip him. Duck lips.
The time that it takes is under the craft skill on page 244.
Okay. Because we're talking about a guy who read the library.
Yep.
Um. Four days of work. Crafting example. Crafting success.
You might want to read the crafting example and then kind of tell me. I imagine it's on the order of a couple of weeks for these items. Okay, so Alcur is spending some time crafting items. Are you going all the way back to the sanitarium to do that?
I would like to.
Okay, who is going with Alcur to the sanitarium?
Sanitarium.
I'm assuming the people who like their weapons.
Yeah, Shadow's coming with you.
Okay.
Are we gonna go right away? Did we go like because the guy had a library in his castle, right?
You
Remember that?
Yeah, you took the books from there.
All the books from the library?
Yep.
All that
Sweet.
were remaining.
Okay, so the people whose weapons are being fiddled with,
Which I
that's
think is just
Krieger,
about
Damien,
everyone.
and
Crusher's coming with you.
Crusher's
It's
coming
go-
with you. Okay.
Well, it's also your home too.
It's
They spent all this time.
Krieger, Damien, and
Darian. And yes,
right.
it's my own fault for having a name so similar.
And
No problem, Mulgrimir.
I will beat you to death.
and Shadow. Krieger, Darian,
And Shadow. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like that leaves Oscar and Ptolemy, which means the whole party goes there. Ptolemy kind of bitches a little bit that he doesn't want to go to the sanitarium.
It's all right. It's time to face your fears.
What were the horses worth again?
2 gold?
2 gold or something.
There were 2 gold each, and we paid gold and 8 silvers, and
Okay.
supposed to have a 2 silver profit.
I think our last remaining horse is. We should just name him Petey. Last name Esty.
No, I think it
That's
was
what it's
called.
got.
It was called Nag. I think. It was the
Nag,
last-
that's right.
It was Neg.
For 6 more gold, you can buy the last 3 horses in the village.
Gotta be fucking shitting me. Guys, highway. For fuck's sake. Alright, we'll take the 6 gold.
Okay.
It's a travesty. Can't trust people these days.
It's what a horse is worth. What is your problem?
Now let's not lose these ones to wolves. For some reason, Ptolemy's scolding Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow, let's not lose these one to wolves.
Why'd you bring them there anyways? Stupid. They can't climb trees.
Wolves?
No. Horses.
Oh yes, the horse is screaming. Will stay with me for a very long time.
Good.
It was terrifying.
I sure hope we killed enough of them. The wolves, that
Kill
is.
the big ones.
Not the
That's
horses.
the important part.
Well, I imagine there's still a few packs out there, but they're not under the influence of, evil vampire giant wolf. So, things will start to look up.
Yeah, that's right. I slew him.
And that's what you're going to tell them in Hamlet, right?
Yes, if they ask.
Well, they're going to ask what you've been doing, my lord.
Well, I have important work to do. I've been ruminating and relaxing when not
My lord.
ruminating. Lots of rest.
When someone's complaining that perhaps you have not been doing your job or
Well,
you're
I'm not-
fulfilling your responsibilities,
You must remember, a knight, Squire Sir Montague. I'm not a baron.
my lord, there comes a time when you have to just accept that you have to step up and do what needs to be done. Sadly, that was like 5 years ago for you. Unfair as it may be, because you were just a lad, but some stuff should have got done and didn't. So some people are going to be upset.
Right.
So when those people are upset, you tell them. But I was busy killing the rebel prince.
Sending out the great hunter Shadow so that we may follow in his footsteps, track it down.
The greatest of hunters.
Sure. Works for me.
Fucking castle.
I actually like the castle.
What you don't do is tell them you're busy resting. Because people who are resting are not busy.
And eating badgers. Or possums, I mean.
But you're resting.
Resting is what the rest of us do when we're not busy, my lord.
What dreadful lives you peasants live.
Yeah, it's a chore.
All right, fix the horses and attach them to the wagon, and we'll be off.
Yes, my lord.
He climbs into the into the carriage.
Derry just shakes his head after he's out of sight. It's like, ugh.
A few days up the mountain, Ptolemy complains a couple of times that the carriage isn't even when you guys are like going over like keep it even if you can as you're going up the side of a mountain. And you are able to
Are you serious?
you are able to navigate your way to the sanitarium of St. Solars, and it is now about 4 days later. So, spring 42, you are at the Sanitarium of St. Solars. Are there any things you want to do while there? I know that Alker is doing crafting. It looks like he'll probably be the long pole in this, as in his downtime will take the longest.
Darian,
We're gonna have to pare down this list because we're currently at 50 days of crafting at my level.
Oh,
I can.
Darian.
If we reduce owlbear claws, the owlbear claws are 3 days each. So I can cut that down to like a pair of them.
Yeah, Darian needs a week to retrain a feat.
Okay, is that the rule?
I believe so.
Okay, so retraining. Tell us about that.
I'll have to look it up again.
Do you want him to craft holy water, or just buy the holy water recipe so we can craft it later if we need it?
Sorry, say that again?
Holy water. There was a big hubbub about not having holy water.
Yeah, Darian would like you to craft some holy water. Or just, we could probably pick some up, I'm guessing.
We could buy some.
Yep, you can buy holy water at the Sanitarium of St. Solars. The sanitarium is dedicated to an angel by the name of Solars. In fact, there's probably a shrine where people go and have claimed throughout the years to have spoken to the angel.
I'm assuming that they would also sell me a holy water recipe.
Here we go.
Yeah, they will sell you a holy water recipe.
Alright, under retraining and downtime feats, you can spend a week of downtime retraining to swap out one of your feats. Remove the old feat and replace it with another one of the same type.
Okay, does it have a cost?
Nope, just the time.
Interesting. Have at ye. Alright, so that's Darian swapping out a feat?
Yeah, he's swapping out his the feat that allowed him to use the domain spell of his god. He's swapping it for ranged what's it called? Damn it. Ranged retribution.
Got it. So I think that means he loses no, he still has, what are they called? Reservoir? Not reservoir. He still has lay on hands. He still has
lay on
focus.
hands.
Okay. So you don't lose your focus because of that. Great.
Yeah, so now he can take a step when using his retributive strike.
Aha!
Got it. Okay, the
To
Sanitarium of
strike
St. Solars, to remind you, is a monastery established by a collection of monks of various goodly and lawful religions long ago, consecrated in the name of the angelic St. Solars. Over the centuries, a monastery has taken in the destitute, the enfeebled, the infirm, and the mad, tending to them out of the duty to fellow man. The monastery has expanded several times and now includes a school, a hospice, a sanitarium, a gymnasium, a greenhouse, crypts, and several wards for various inhabitants. St. Solars was a known enemy of the undead, and many of the, both, I believe, Darian and Bonecrusher received boons against undead.
Yep.
No, Darian received a boon to diplomacy with other men, other humans, I guess, because he is a paladin of the Five-Faced God. All right, so you're retraining. Ptolemy, I think, is just going to kind of hover over Alkur's shoulder and kind of rest and avoid the monks who he claims are secretly conspiring to lock him up in one of the wards.
Okay.
Krieger, how's he spending downtime?
Is there a nice fishing hole around here somewhere?
No, but there's a lot of chores that they start asking you to do.
Well, yeah,
Given your strength and size and affiliation.
your shed's all crooked. You need to push it over. You need a support over here. Yeah, okay. I'll help out with some labor.
All right, give me a lore labor check, and you can add your strength to this.
Okay. Sick. Add my strength, okay?
Mm-hmm. This is just to see how well you perform and how well you...
29. Critical success.
Critical success. Okay. At the end of downtime, the monks of St. Solars kind of like approach you. They have a small keg of beer that they brew at the sanitarium.
Ooh.
As well as two minor, I think they are heal potions.
Thank you.
Consumables.
There's an elixir version and a potion version.
Minor elixir of life. 584.
It's 1d6 healing and then +1 on saving throws, I think, for 10 minutes. Maybe.
There's something I'm trying to figure out here. Adam,
Yo.
you got a sec?
For 548,
Sure.
actually.
Monk, wolf stance. If you're flanking with somebody, your unarmed strikes gain the trip trait. Trip means I can trip.
You can use.
You spend an extra action to put someone on the ground that you've just finished hitting with your attack. It's what
But I can do that. I can do that as an attack, anyways. With unarmed strike.
Yeah, but this. Well, I don't think you have to roll though.
No, you roll using your athletics. It says on the weapon traits.
No, but you hit them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you use an action to trip instead of rolling again. You understand?
Oh wait, does this say that your hands gain the trip trait?
Yes.
Okay, well then it's
Well,
just like the weapon. It's not the monster trip attack.
So yeah, but that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is I can already, instead of doing. What does that actually do? Because I already have trip.
No, yeah, you trip using athletics. Now you can trip using a strike.
No, you still use you still use
You still use. Okay, whatever bonuses you get to strike, though, you can use. Like if you've got a +1 potency bonus to strike, you can use that towards your trip.
and add the weapons item bonus to attack rolls
For the trip.
as an item bonus to the athletic check.
There you go. So you've
So
got.
I can add a +1 to my
yeah,
or whatever.
because you got the gloves.
I read it wrong. 50 days means I could craft all this stuff at no cost.
Oh, well, that's much different.
But it's actually more than that. It'd be 70 days to be at no cost. It's 50 days for it to be no cost, and then, yeah. So no, it's like 20 days, 24 days.
Okay,
24 days of downtime.
nice. I'll add that to the sheet and distribute your magic items again. So
The rule is 4 days for an item.
Yep.
And then you spend additional days to reduce the amount of money you spend.
And then spring 60 24 66
Yep.
finish downtime.
Here, and then I can. Give me a second. There's stuff I can do in batches.
All right, so Krieger spends some time helping out the monks and the nuns and the residents of the sanitarium, and they give him some beer, some nice dark frothy. What would it be? Like a Trappist ale, and then 2 elixirs of life. They're minor versions. Ptolemy doesn't try to get in anyone's way, although he kind of pops in on what everyone else is doing and grows rapidly bored.
Krieger tries to get him to help him fix things around the monastery.
Okay, he
Just
kind
hold
of
it for a second. Just for a second.
he
Just for a second.
he kind of like he does a bad job. He stands around.
Okay,
He
one of
gets
those-
distracted
okay, just
easy.
get out of here. Just leave.
He supervises. He's like, I'm more of a supervisor as a noble. He seems to get more tired than you supervising. Bone Crusher, what are you doing spending time at the monastery?
Crusher is actually so I'm gonna be so instead of the toughness, I'm actually gonna take one of the human traits. It's natural skill. I'm gonna get trained in 2 skills, and basically I want to learn more about setting up defenses for castles. Crusher was impressed by the structures, the castle that he saw, and wanted to learn more about how to defend build. So some kind of construction and tactics and defense. And I'm just looking
Well,
actually to get the skills for
tactics
that.
and defense, you already have lore warfare, so
Yeah.
that's already there.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering if can I increase it or
Right now, you are trained.
yeah. I might have to next one I might.
So lore warfare would include tactics and strategy and how to run a siege and what to happen. What do you do when you are under a siege?
Okay.
You are already well versed in that.
Okay.
As for crafting, that would be the craft skill, which I think applies to everything. And that would apply to I want to build a building.
Okay, then he's gonna so I'm gonna get trained in crafting, and I'm gonna pick another one.
It's hilarious. We're gonna have
What?
matching skill lists. It'll be funny. It's monk and it's funny. No, it's good. It's good. Good.
Oh, well, different.
Different applications of the same
Yeah.
skills. Yep.
And So yeah, Crusher's gonna get trained in crafting. I'm gonna pick another one, something that
Okay,
complements.
well, Alker points out stacks of books that that Bone Crusher should read. This saves you probably years of time in that library to find out the ones that were good and which ones aren't. He creates basically a syllabus for you to go about learning how to craft, and then actually shows you a few things while he's crafting everyone's items, which is pretty neat. Oscar, how are you spending your downtime?
Well, somebody's got to sell all this treasure. I mean,
right.
we got
Can I
horse
help?
bits, and we got wolf bits, and we got bat wings and antlers. And I have no idea what any of this other stuff's worth, but
Got it.
it's worth something.
So you're selling all of the everything in the sell pile? Okay, great.
So the sell pile plus the art and valuables and the animal parts. I just don't know what those are worth.
Oh, let's see.
And I'm looking for the rules for selling, and selling might be also a craft.
Are you sure it's not diplomacy?
Might be diplomacy. I looked up sell, and that wasn't a thing. Request. No.
What is the name of your power where you get?
I've got barter.
Barter sounds
barter something.
like a good thing.
I have. Bargain hunter.
Okay, and that should tell us what we should be looking at.
Bargain hunter. You can earn income using diplomacy, spending your days hunting for bargains and reselling at a profit.
Okay.
This works as if you're using earn income with diplomacy instead of giving money. You purchase an item at a discount equal to the money you would have gained, gaining that item for free if the income equals the exceeding cost. Finally, if you select Bargain Hunter during the creation, you get more money.
And is selling gear half price?
That's my question. I'm assuming it's half price. It's like crafting is half price. I'm assuming selling is half price.
Okay, let's just assume that for now, and then you could have a windfall if I'm wrong. Okay. You know what? Bartering sounds like it's pretty good. So, and if you succeed, you gain how much?
It's basically as if I was earning income.
Got it.
So I am an expert, and I am third level. Or no, I'm trained. I think. Wait a second. I am just. I should make myself expert. Oh, I'm gonna up my diplomacy further. Jesus. I get 5 silver piece per day doing this. So like if during downtime, if I was just trying to earn income, it's here. There might be in chunks. I think that's per day though. So you attempt to find things. You take a job, set DCs. You can earn for multiple days without having to roll again. Most tasks last a week or two. So.
Yeah. So we don't know how long it takes you to sell items. Is basically what we're saying.
Right. I was kind of under the in my brain it was like probably something along the lines of using the earned income tab to
Yep.
just do a thing. But I haven't seen that.
Okay.
written down.
To cut through this, just to move it along, I'm going to say that you get the 21 gold pieces and 9 silver, and because you're such a good seller of goods, we'll say that you earn an additional gold.
Okay, that's not divided by 2 yet.
Oh shit. Okay, so calculators.
It should be 11. Effectively. Throw a silver coin in the pile, it's 11.
All right, so 21.9. Let's say that the full wolf pelts are worth 2 silver apiece, so that's 1. The wolf bits, you're getting like
Come on, who doesn't want a wolf ass? Who doesn't want a wolf ass?
you're getting like 15 copper.
And some dirty looks.
There we
The
go.
3 pairs of giant bat wings, people are impressed with those. You'll probably get a gold each. And then the 12-point deer antlers mounted are quite impressive, and they're already made, so we'll give you 2 gold for that. And then divide by 2. So Oscar makes 14 gold and 3 copper from just selling the stuff. That's not including the art and valuables. Are you selling that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think that's
already you don't get half from that. That is actually like commodity.
Its value.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Oscar will say managed to haggle with his. Well, actually, give me a roll. I've got a DC table, and we'll see.
All right. This is the whole thing of like, did you put any? What's your charisma like, dwarf? Everybody loves me. Everybody loves Oscar.
And your downtime activity is kind of like, what is the rate? It is.
If 5 silver piece per day.
Okay, got it.
It's basically if you have one guy selling and one guy making, they go continuously. Everybody loves me. 7. Nobody loves Oscar.
Okay. You managed to sell all of the goods, but you only make.
So there's so it's the failure column. I'm looking at the thingy, the table.
Yep.
It's 8 copper pieces per day, which is what I get for failure.
Got it. And you spend about half the time actually selling your goods, so 10. You get 8 silver pieces. You get 80 copper. Like you managed to like nickel and dime. You managed to penny people. Like, come on, 3 pennies. That sort of thing.
I'm 8. I am 20 away from a goal.
All right. So I don't know if you're keeping that as your fee.
That's my fee right there.
All right. And then your 14. Here, I will. I will erase the sell
over
pile.
the coppers. He has whole gold pieces in his pouch.
And I'll add the money. 14 gold and 3
Yeah, I'm going to then
copper
take
pieces.
off the crafting stuff from that.
I already took the cell and the art and the animal parts off.
Cool. I will then... like up above, I've got the cost of crafting things.
Got it.
I'll wait till that gets spent. Maybe it doesn't.
Shadow, you probably spent a considerable amount of time eating, given that you've spent several months locked in a room, starving and eating rats. So you eat and drink. You eat and drink your fill over like 20 days and start to put on some healthy weight. What else are you doing during this downtime?
He's gonna chat with Alker and ask him if he knows any books about lycanthropy.
Okay, this is probably a conversation worth having. So, Shadow.
What are you looking for? Try that again.
You see, I was fairly certain that the ones I was following were lycanthropes. Werewolves.
They weren't.
No, they turned out to be, well, vampires. But I was certain that they were werewolves.
You shouldn't have been certain, because they weren't vampires. Or they weren't werewolves.
You thought they were something else. What did you think they were? Because you failed your.
Don't you worry about it.
Just dire.
There
Awakened.
definitely were
Awakened.
awakened
They defi-
animals out
They
there.
Well, a lichen is is a type of awakened animal. I was just wondering if I was to run into one. I need to make sure I know how to take it out. Can you show me where some books are about them? Maybe where they are, so I can be more wary. And what their weaknesses might be.
I don't believe you.
Sure you do. I'm very trustworthy.
Try again. We're on friendly terms. Why do you want to know about the lycanthropes?
It may have to do something with our name. Wolfsheim's.
Knowledge something? Nature or
Knowledge freak.
creepy or occult or
Yeah, you can roll. You can roll knowledge, nature if you want.
21?
21. The DC is 19. You have heard of stories of people being afflicted with lycanthropy, mainly werewolves around these parts, that have horrible time keeping a hold of their humanity as they go on uncontrolled murderous rages, especially during the full moon or at night.
Ooh, goody.
Even an honorable town guard or a priest could become a murderous psychopath. You do have books where they in the sanitarium have attempted to help someone with lycanthropy. The type of lycanthropy, however, of the person that was in the sanitarium was a were-rat, not a werewolf. This person lived out their days in the sanitarium, and they learned much about lycanthropy from studying the person in.
We have some extensive notes on lycanthropy within this library.
I would like to read them. It's of great interest to me.
All right.
You know that the cell of that creature after he died, first the body was burned and put into the earth immediately, and then the cell was scrubbed with bleach and acid several times before putting used again. In fact, and they let it sit for like 10 years before allowing anyone into that room. They were worried.
I think only recently they actually started using the cell again.
They were worried about it as an affliction. And with your 21, you know that true lycanthropes, whether you're sharing this knowledge with Shadow or not, are the ones that are born with it or that have learned to control it. Whereas afflicted are the ones that are their tormented victims.
We're not going to give this crack addict too much crack. We're going to point him to the book about the were-rat, and we'll see if he reads diligently the book about the were-rat as a cautionary tale.
Okay, I need a good name for a skeevy were-rat.
Migsy.
Migsy? Okay.
Otherwise known as Samuel Miggs.
The life and tale, and they made a pun of Samuel Miggs.
Hey, some respect for the dead, you monks.
No, this was the book that the monks wrote while he would talk to them.
Was alive.
Yeah, while he was alive, but
while he had a tail and was moving around.
Yep. Another thing is that lycanthropes came to the banner of the enemy, and enemy is capitalized, and it's just they are not creatures of civilization.
We're gonna point him towards the most boring cautionary tale version. We want the PSA on. This is your brain. This is your brain on lycanthropy.
Yeah, it's an account like some of the monks like write down what he says, but then some of the monks have like observations of how often he poops and his shedding and how he
that is
aged
the one
and-
we want.
Okay, so you have this ponderous tome about about the monks keeping track of the stages of this were-rat's lycanthropy. So Shadow, you could spend probably the entire time reading this really boring book.
You'll spend a day, see nothing useful in it.
Well, does he just see nothing useful in it, or is he actually looking for interesting tidbits?
No, he's looking for. He wants to know, like, well, what were they careful of? Not getting
Yeah.
his fur, the bite.
So as
the
you're
poop.
researching, I'll give you a +2 to a knowledge nature roll as you're flipping through the book trying to glean answers about the truth of
I'm
lycanthropy.
looking forward to him accidentally becoming a were-hamster.
The DC is 19, and you can critically fail with this.
+2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, he's gonna be like, I need to fly to become.
I reserve the right to call you Danny.
22.
Okay, you actually don't think that you just need to go out and get bit by a werewolf. You know that you need to talk to or at least find a true werewolf, because this were-rat, Samuel Miggs, spoke about his master or spoke about his pack. And I need a name for the rat pack, the Blacktails. And that there is a pack master of the Blacktails, and he is the one that bestows the gift. You also glean with your 22 that the one who bestows the gift might also have strange powers over the ones they bestow their gift to.
Mm-hmm.
Step 1, get the gift. Step 2, kill the guy who gave you the gift.
Thanks, buddy.
Step 3, sell the silverware.
Step 3, sell the silverware. I like that. All right.
So somewhere out there could still be a pack of werewolves called the Blacktails.
We're rats.
We're rats.
Were-rats, sorry, yeah.
Want to be a were-rat?
No, I'm good.
All right, so you end up kind of tossing. I toss the book into your library. Shadow reads it and ends up kind of like not.
Oh, thanks. This is so interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll read it
It's
later.
got like bookmarks everywhere.
Hey, Drake, how's it going? Okay, that was an awkward conversation. Give me a D3.
Who? Anybody?
Okay.
Just a D3 is fine.
3.
Okay. Bone Crusher, you have a run-in with the senior warden of the sanitarium. He's just walking down the hallway.
Yeah.
As you
Warden.
as you were going about your business. Ah, Bone Crusher. Congratulations! I see that you have found your brother. We were all
Yes.
we were all worried on your behalf.
Thank you. It was quite trying and challenge to find him, but we succeeded, and he is safe, as are all of us.
I trust that you will be heading out soon. The
Yes.
spring rains are about to break into the summer heat. It would be good to travel before the heat is at its worst.
Yes, the Master Ptolemy is requested in another territory,
Yes,
and we will be moving along with him.
I understand that Lord Byrne, who is a powerful wizard in his own right, has been writing Ptolemy for some time. When he got no response from the young lordling, he did start to write me here at the sanitarium. He did inquire if Ptolemy was locked up here.
No, no, we were actually quite busy. We had killed the rebel prince. Ptolemy actually struck the final blow to it.
What do you make of the mindset and behavior of this young lordling?
I see he has.
I remember from his interviews long ago, and I was not the headmaster at that time, but I would have locked him up.
To be honest with you, he was a child with no guidance. The ones that served him guided him not. However, I do see quite a bit of potential in him. He can lead, he just needs a bit of guidance from ones who would give it to him.
You don't think it's too late?
Hmm,
He's a man in
No.
his 20s, I believe. I would have to
Yes.
check the register, but he was
he's about that age. He's about my age.
consecrated to the Nameless upon shortly after his birth, as
Yes.
are we all, as we all are. However, we think that there's something wrong with his physiology as well.
Well, he is a caster.
While I did not examine him, I did examine the report, and something about a floating nipple.
I have not seen him undressed. If I don't know much about that. However, I can tell you who's very capable in combat. He was very useful.
Well, yes, I suppose it's water under the bridge now. It's only unfortunate that we weren't able to properly educate him and help him with whatever maladies that he had, both mental and physical. Living
I
alone,
think
living alone
he's,
in that dreadful place, might not have been healthy for him. And if he is to become the Baron of this quadrant, as many hope that he might, well, let us not delve into rebellious talk.
No, worry not, Warden. I'm surrounding him with trustworthy folk. Our cur is excellent. So is our paladin. We will care for him, physically and mentally.
I mean no disrespect to the Vanium family. They have always been strong rulers of Dia Sylvania. But perhaps this is the black sheep of their family. I would be very careful around him. He is shown to be quite spineless, shirking his duties as well.
I tell you, he stood up and faced a vampire and a wolf vampire.
Really?
Yes. I would fight with him again. That's why we journey with him.
If you do not
If he were-
mind, perhaps writing a short report of your expedition to find your brother. It sounds like you had a very interesting journey. Something
Yes,
for
yes.
our records.
Of course. A few pages of our locations and what we faced and what we have gotten rid of.
He nods. Thank you, Bone Crusher. You are always one that can be relied upon.
Warden, your service always.
Off walks the senior
Yeah,
warden.
Crusher does
Yeah.
the bow and
He nods to you. Off walks the senior warden, Alexandro of the sanitarium. He's the one that probably trained you in your fighting ways.
Mhm.
Leaving you with strange thoughts about Ptolemy.
He's an idiot. Yes.
But he's not a coward.
Mark, give me a D2.
2.
It's Krieger. All right. So Krieger, while he's like cleaning out a cell, kind of passes by one cell. You were warned to like not talk to the people in the cells in these parts. In fact, you might not. You're probably not supposed to be here, but you tired out one of the monks moving logs around and chopping wood. And he still had duties to do, and you're like, oh, I'll see what the cell is, and he had to clean out the cell. Actually, he had to replace a bench in the cell. When a man kind of coughs from the cell across his, and sort of startles you.
Yeah.
He's got the face of like a toad or some sort of turtle.
It's been some time since I've seen someone so green.
Yeah, I'm green, huh? Yeah, okay.
Oh, yes, you are. You are brilliant, light green. Sort of yellow, actually.
So are those like horns on his face?
Yeah,
or-
they're kind of like horns jutting out of his face, and his eyes do not have any pupils. He might be blind, but he's sort of looking at your chest, like he's not looking straight at your eyes, and he's looking at you.
Sort of a yellow green. Yeah.
He's got kind of clawed hands,
Yeah.
and he's kind of pushing his head to the bars, like a barred window inside a heavy wooden door, iron reinforced, obviously locked. There's a little there's like a little hatch for like food trays or chamber pots to go through.
So, why are you here?
Oh, I'm a visitor. It's hard to get around these parts.
Yeah, he's like waving in front of him to see if there's any reaction.
Yeah, there's this slight reaction, like he's seeing maybe like something really slowly, or maybe he's feeling the air and he's looking around.
You are untethered. What a rarity. You are so strong. Yellow, green. You must make many people angry.
Well, I don't know about that. He's looking around like,
What's this guy's last name?
I don't know
What
what
you
you're
do?
seeing. Yellow and green.
No, you don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He
This
smiles.
is pretty gray, actually.
He's got the eyes of the saint.
What do they call you?
I'm Krieger.
Krieger the Yellow, with spots of green.
Okay, let's come up with a better name than that, because I'm not letting that one slide.
No, you're big and strong, aren't you? At least that I can hear. Do you know
What's
what
your
they...
name?
Oh, you want to know what they call me, do you?
Or that, if they're different?
They call me See No Evil.
Well, that is a bizarre nickname, my friend.
Oh no, it's no nickname. Although it took some time for them to rename me after I was born.
What did they call you before?
I was too young. Something.
So, why he's leaning on whatever he was working with. So,
Yeah.
why do they call you See No Evil?
Because I only see a world of white, yellow, and green, my friend. Sometimes tinges of orange, grey, or blue. But never red, or purple, or black.
as I am to understand.
I don't know what any of that means.
You're yellow. You're a rarity, and I can tell you are unmarked. You are going to be a force of great change.
Okay. You comfy in there? You need some more pillows or something? He's looking around like if there's a monk around to take care of this guy who's clearly insane.
I have brothers. You should seek them out. They aren't as handicapped as I am.
They all got the shall we say, bumps on their faces.
Yes, that's if Speaks hasn't gotten himself hung by now.
Well, if I run into him, I'll be sure to send you regards.
My other brother might enjoy talking to you. He can't hear what most people say.
Wait. Really?
Really?
So, why would he enjoy talking to me? 'Cause I'm yellow.
Precisely.
Okay, and I am now lost. Mark gets it. Creature does not.
Just willfully stubborn. Right. It doesn't have meta knowledge about D&D, D&D universe.
Auras? What the fuck is an aura?
Stands for all right.
Your friends, they're tethered, anchored. I haven't seen a soul that is untethered in a very long time.
Oh, you mean like I'm not tied down? Yeah, that's just how I live my life, you know,
Right.
day to day.
Unfettered, untethered, unmarked even. I would normally not see such things except for the space that they leave behind.
Okay. Well, I gotta finish putting this door up, so don't mind me.
I wouldn't spend so much time doing the mundane things.
Oh, it's the mundane things that make the special things seem special.
Interesting. Humble. Yes. Yellow. And he just sort of leans back from the bars and sort of disappears into the darkness of his cell. There's no light in there. Delight.
So, speak no evil would be a terrible, like, life insurance salesman, used car salesman.
Yeah, he said as long as Speaks, you can go meet my brother Speaks if he hasn't got himself hung by now.
Yep. And then you could totally talk over Here's No Evil.
Yeah.
The saint. Saint's eyes. The eyes of the saint.
Okay, so Krieger has this weird run-in with some dude.
Yeah, some weirdos here, I'm telling
So,
you.
so if we were, like, just spitballing here, in some sort of lawful evil plane of existence, the evil spectrum might be blown out of his pupils, but then the law would also be blown out. So maybe we're in, like, an evil-y place, but that doesn't jive with some other stuff. Anyways. Place fucked
Okay.
up, man.
20 days after arriving, Alker has done all of his crafting. He has new items. He hands it out to the group. All of you guys are excited. The spring rains have abated somewhat. Shadow's looking well fed and ready to go. Ptolemy is just about is bored. He's actually just sort of lying down at a bench.
What are you doing?
Resting, but I can't get comfortable.
Perhaps you should take up a hobby.
Well, I tried to administer and supervise and observe and correct, but that's exhausting.
If it's exhausting, then it's probably not a very good hobby.
Being exhausted, yes. Not a very good hobby indeed. Are we about ready to leave?
Yes. Here, hold this so you can get the big ass axe over it.
Ah, so heavy. He's dragging across the ground. It's sparking.
Be careful with that. It's, rather powerful at this point. Potent, one might say.
Oh, it is. And Ptolemy takes a quick look at it and see. He likes magic. It's just he gets bored easy.
It's a +1 striking retributive axe, and we're going to attach an owlbear claw to that too.
Okay.
Oh my god!
Krieger, you can just feel the power of the axe when it's handed to you. Ptolemy is like, "Here you go, strong man."
We're going to give you a spare owlbear claw.
Okay.
So that can be mounted to the weapon. It allows you to use its crit power on confirmation of a critical as a reaction.
That's awesome.
Okay,
Don't
Shadow.
And it's striking now.
And it's striking now.
Good God.
Don't accidentally hit us with it. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, that's actually part of one of the conditions of the arrangement. Shadow, your bow is now potent. Additionally, here is
Fitting.
a owlbear claw that you could attach if you'd like. It will allow you to pin a single foe to a surface, if you wished.
Ptolemy gets off the bench.
So when you sight him,
It's a one-shot item. It has to be attached to the weapon.
Interesting. Yes, thank you.
Right. Darian,
Oh, yeah.
here's your sword. It's now potent. Now is better at striking.
Well, thank you kindly. Much appreciated.
I've got. Additionally, here's 2 vials of holy water.
Haha. Excellent. Next vampire we run into, we're not going to need that sunlight.
Yes, perfect. All right, and where is that? There he is. Very good work, Oscar, on helping with the procurement of the items that were required, as well as the sales. Just doing my job. He's picking his teeth.
That's what Oscar. That's what Oscar does.
You don't understand. He is super happy that he made 80 coppers. Time well spent.
How else would I have paid my taxes? Says Ptolemy.
And here is an owlbear claw for that rapier that we found. It will stagger a foe if you strike them hard enough, aka flat-footed on a critical hit.
Nicely done.
Hey, buddy. So I'm just going to put here.
so the composite bow is what?
+1 to hit.
Okay.
Oh, I've learned new spells.
+1. Sorry, composite bow is double damage, isn't it?
I can make people stupid by touching them. He says to Alker.
Well, yeah. Darian kind of mutters, you can make people stupid by talking to him.
Do you want me to try it out? He says.
Keep it away or you will lose it.
Oh, all right.
My lord.
I also know how to cast mirror image and dispel magic and telekinetic maneuvers.
I have no idea what those are, but that sounds very impressive.
It is.
Have you also unlocked second circle spells?
Well, of course they are. What else would they be? I think. Yes, you're right. They are second circle.
The Heart of Gold has also bequeathed me with the ability to unlock the secrets of the second circle.
Well,
It was only a matter of time.
good that you're keeping up.
That's 115 years old.
That's fun. I'm gonna put down a handkerchief on Ptolemy's equipment. Silk handkerchief.
The five-faced god has also seen fit to grant me new power. Clearly, our actions have pleased the gods.
Clearly! Oscar's patting a pouch with 80 gold or 80 copper coins.
So, back to the Bone Sparrow Manor to celebrate, and we'll spend the summer there, swimming.
Oh, I'm afraid we seem to have forgotten something, my lord. Your presence has been requested in Hamlet.
Oh yeah, but that was ages ago. They've probably forgotten by now.
I don't think they have, my lord.
We're going to go to Hamlet.
Yes, my lord. Don't forget, you'll be showing up a hero.
Yes, maybe that will counteract the way I acted when I was there last.
That was quite some time ago. They probably don't remember.
Let's refresh the memories of those
What
who weren't
happened?
there then.
Oh, we went to the graveyard of Hamlet, and I saw ghosts, and no one else saw them.
And you were
Shit.
how old?
8, 9.
Not a big deal. Just a boy.
Yeah, I shrieked at the funeral.
Whose funeral?
He was some sheriff or something.
Okay, well,
I sort of freaked out, and one of my tentacles came out, and the sheriff's wife fell into the grave. And there was sort of a stampede.
well,
Don't worry, they must have forgotten all about it by now.
You make quite the impression.
I then spent the rest of the visit hiding in a closet in one of the houses there. Well, I was tormented by spirits. So I think.
let's hope this visit goes better then, shall we?
Indeed. Perhaps they've forgotten.
Almost sure of it. I haven't.
Oh.
Well, we got ponies. We got treasures. We've got the taxes. All right.
Yes.
Are
Yes,
we going
do.
now?
Yes. All right. So let's find a road for you to travel upon. We will go.
Good job! Thanks to the beer!
Yes. Thanks for the beer.
It's my beer.
It
I'm
is
just-
your beer.
I'll share it, but it's my beer.
I was so busy. We said we don't have another few weeks that we could spend. Swimming would be good.
Pretty darn sure we don't.
I didn't get to investigate the gloob.
We should leave. Ptolemy needs
the
to get.
gloob.
Ptolemy needs to perform his duties.
I was so looking forward to Krieger cleaning out the pool so we could swim.
What?
I was looking forward to getting some nice possum steaks back on the queue.
Oh, that sounds good.
Roast possum,
You know,
broiled possum, possum
Lord,
mince pie,
maybe
possum
we can get
kebab,
some better food at, say, an inn
ground possum with the thyme on top. Don't
in
ask me where I
Hamlet.
got the thyme.
All right, we'll go there. I swear, if they call me Ghost Boy, I'm going to.
Peppered possum pockets, possum meatballs, possum ragu, tossed possum in the cream sauce. Don't ask
I'll
where I
tell
got the
you what,
cream.
my
You're
lord.
just yelling things out.
Tell you what, my lord. I will not stand for anyone making fun of you.
Thank you. It's good to have friends. Servants? Friends? Servants.
We'll work on that, my lord.
Squire!
He, he opens the door and, like, very roughly, like, just points inside.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you're kind of guiding him in. Careful. Okay, who was the one that drove the wagon? Is that Alcur or
Alcur.
Oscar? Okay,
Alcur did.
Alcur. And then Oscar's riding up front and Krieger
Yep.
is up front?
And we're gonna put the
Yeah.
cowbell on whoever's the most ornery of the ponies.
It's the old nag, the one that almost got eaten by horses but survived. Yeah, it's
Yep.
it's a little, it's a
one
little,
with
it's a
the
little
twitch.
skittish. Yeah, exactly. All right, so you put the magical cowbell on the nag in the lead position, and that kind of helps you navigate. The old road is much easier to travel upon, aside from the ancient trail, and soon you find yourselves clipping through the very vast and ancient dire sylvan wood. You have killed many of the monsters plaguing the immediate area, including the rebel prince, and are making good time to Hamlet.
All right.
I think we need to just roll initiative because there's no real stealth versus perception versus. There can be, but yeah.
Only if somebody's actively doing a thing.
Yep. So I think perception kind of like, do you see the bandits that are upon the road as you.
So, Uskar took improved initiative as his feat,
Okay.
which is +2 on initiatives for all the initiatives, not just perception-based initiatives.
Got it. So I do have a special initiative sheet that I prepared where I select which skill to use an initiative, because initiative could use multiple skills. So let's go to the enter the dungeon combat sheet. And some of your skill ranks may not be updated because I think Oscar and Alcur are only second level at this point. You may want to have a look at perception, stealth, diplomacy, and deception. This is pure perception. And you're saying Oscar gets a +2 to all of his initiatives?
+2 to all of them.
Okay. I've also created a
Should
random
set
number
a shadow.
generator,
Okay.
which I believe just going to the page.
And you just sort of you make it go, and then you just drop that in.
Yep, I just push enter on one of them, and then I copy pasta back to the
Yep.
initiative roll.
Okay. The
Paste values. There we go.
Oscar's base perception is +9, and then he's got +2 bonus and everything. Oscar's stealth is 11. His diplomacy.
There's a diplomacy-based initiative?
Yeah, when you're bullshitting.
Yeah, there's different types of
Yeah,
initiatives, man.
I hear you. Yeah.
When the shitting of the bull is happening, or jaw jacking. Just as a heads up, Marty, I took experienced smuggler as Oscar's skill feat, which
Okay.
basically whenever you're rolling perception checks versus stealth for hiding stuff or finding stuff on my character or whatever, I take 10 on the die, or you roll, and the minimum of the roll is 10, then you add the mod. So it's another one of those it's a power that makes the DM need to do more.
Sorry, I was only half listening to that, so
If people are searching Oscar, the DC is higher because I have a
Got it.
skill feat that does it.
did you update Oscar's perception, stealth, diplomacy, and
I
deception?
did. I'm not doing all curse.
Okay.
Which is 9. And I believe that is a 1 because I don't hide. This one in stealth and deception is just my ability mod, and this my diplomacy is 6. Nerd.
Okay, cool. You guys don't initially see the bandits, so you
I
are.
don't know. The enemies won the first roll on this thingy. Yep. Bandits.
They also have a +7, and they rolled an 18.
Yeah.
So. All right, you see that the forest is starting to thin out, and it's about to break into sort of a grasslands as you're coming out of the dire sylvan wood, but it looks like somebody has hastily made a barricade of fallen trees, not really large like the one that was blocking the way at along the ancient trail, but like a bunch of deadfalls and kind of piled twigs. You slowed down a little bit, and immediately an arrow goes thunking into the wood beside Alkur's face. And we will roll the actual attack rolls from the bandits that are in the bushes.
Where are we?
I've forced you to the map on centered.
Oh, sorry. I got confused and started just moving to other maps.
Yep. I'm just reusing the old forest road that you were traveling down, and
That's not good.
yes, it's a big bristled arrow that thunked into the back of the wood. There was a lot of force behind it. And,
I'm not a deer.
And we've got. I need tokens.
Why are you doing this to me? Would you like me to make you something?
Alright, let me just name these guys.
I'm kind of afraid of the humanoid enemies. We haven't fought any of them yet.
Yeah, what powers do they have?
What do they do?
What do they do? Okay, at this point in time, you don't quite see your assailants. You are all flat-footed, I believe, until if you didn't see them.
Only if they're rogues. There's a power that gives you the flat-footed condition.
Got it.
And then they'd have to be a higher level rogue than Oscar because he's got the uncanny dodge equivalent. Deny advantage.
The bandits are kind of fuzzy. They're blending into the spring brush. 2 of them have bows. The other 2 have battle axes in their hands and seem to be rushing the sides of your camp. Let's do the ones with the bows first. So, Bandit 1 and Bandit 3 are going to attack with their bows. Krieger looks like a good person to attack.
What level are they? Well, hang on. I won't ask that. What I will say is I have deny advantage now, which means I'm not flat-footed against surprise attacks if they're my level or lower.
Okay.
Can I ask where Shadow is?
Where is Shadow?
Left him.
Shadow's missing.
Oh, is he the tower again? Shadow, did you go climb up
He
the
snuck
tower?
off
How
and went to a
did
tower.
I get here?
Shadow's riding in the back with his brother, I guess.
So Crusher and Shadow are in the back.
Or in the wagon, yeah, or in the carriage.
Shadow, he's an archer. He'd be outside
Yeah, well,
or on top.
you kept farting on Alcura, so back in you go.
Okay.
You gotta raise your cheek the other way.
So the bandits. So you're kind of sitting on top and riding along. All right. So you're also a target for one of the other archers. Congrats. So AC 20, not flat-footed, Mark.
Nope.
Okay. The archer takes a second attack. AC critical hit.
If I just say no, can it make
That's a hard no.
Okay, so these are short bows and they're deadly, which means I believe I add the die from the
You
critical
add
hit.
so it does double damage plus the extra die.
Okay. Krieger got hit for, oh my god, 6 damage? Really? 2d6 plus 10? A 3, a 2, and a 1? Okay, so yeah. There's a slight mark in the muscles around your neck, but it could have been worse. It had been a couple of inches over had the wagon not bounced. And the last attack is just a Hail Mary. Now, critical miss. So auto miss. Now the archer on the other side, there are 3 attacks heading in towards Shadow, who has a bow. Automatic miss, a AC 20 and an AC 8.
Ooh, 20 might hit.
And
Shadow's
I'll check
AC.
that advantage thing because the way it's written.
No, yeah, my armor is 20, so that hit right on.
Okay, 6.
Now, do I get cover from sitting? Like, is that considered prone?
No, there is no cover bonus for being prone anymore. So, for arrows and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, you could be prone on the. So Darian is in the wagon. Bone Crusher is in the wagon, sitting down. So is Ptolemy. Everyone is actually sitting on benches. So good point that everyone's prone.
Cool.
The bandits. There are 2 of them that rush. We'll say that this one has to get out of his hiding spot, and then he moves forward with his axe drawn 25 feet, and then has
Marty, I was hit.
Shadow
was hit by 20.
6 damage.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, there is a knoll that is waving his axe in Krieger's face. Kind of comes running in, thumping along the forest floor, and this bandit's doing the same to Oscar on the other side.
Well, ain't that a bitch?
They seem to ignore some of the difficult terrain of the bushes, like they just sort of stride out of the bushes.
Because they're animals.
Yeah, they look like hyena men.
assholes.
The archers.
Werewolves!
The archers seem to be wearing like a black tunic with this strange yellow eye insignia on it.
Black tunic with a strange yellow eye.
Yep. So that was the bandits. Darian, you're next to react. You hear like an arrow thunk and some hyena laughter, like.
Stay down, my lord.
Huh?
He grabs his shield, grabs his sword,
Mm-hmm.
and steps out of the carriage.
Is it 2 actions to ready your shield and your sword?
I would imagine, yeah.
Okay, you can't pull 2 things out at the same action.
I don't think so.
All right, so Darian, are you going to stand up? Or are you going to open? Are you going to open? The
Oh, yeah,
carriage
he's
door?
got to stand up first.
Okay, so you stand up. You got your sword and shield, but the door is still closed. Shadow.
Let's open up. So there's a guy right below us.
Alcur, there you are in the process of slowing the wagon down. Like they you could
It's got
ride about 20 feet more before hitting the barrier. Yeah.
Let's hit. Crusher is going to take care of the guys close to us. Let's hit this guy over there. Who's the
Okay.
guy that hit me?
So right now you're sitting cross-legged on the top of a wagon and no weapon out.
Nice thing about being a monk.
I have my bow.
Okay, so you you take out your bow.
Is it a longbow or a short bow?
It's my longbow.
Okay,
You have to
are
stand
you,
up.
are you gonna stand?
Yep.
Okay, so that's 2 actions.
And if I say that guy's my prey as an action,
Then you're
Are you
done.
talking Crusher or Shadow?
no, this is Shadow, dude.
Shadow. Yep.
If I call him as my prey, that's an action. Hunter prey, yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna take a shot at him.
Okay. He's hiding
Um,
behind a tree. You can see him, but he's got cover.
Is he an animal?
Nope.
I have to ask.
It kind of looks like the
I
head,
get it.
head
I
of a
get
dog,
it.
but
It's just funny.
23.
yeah, you graze the side of the tree and hit the knoll. You got him right in the shoulder. Do damage.
Okay, so this +1 damage as well, right?
I believe potency is just +1 to hit.
Just +1 to hit. So, okay, so it's just a D8.
I will confirm that right now, but I believe it's +1 to hit.
+2. 7 damage.
Nice.
Right back at you.
Could you put that on the token, please? I'm just looking at
Yeah.
the weapon quality. Weapon trait. In circumstances you already attempted to attack it. Oh, okay, cool. All right. That was Shadow standing up and firing an arrow, hitting the Knoll bandit. It hurt him, but he's not bloodied. Alcur.
Are we still going?
Yeah, you're slowing. You're in the process of slowing down. You could try to jump the barricade of the newly felled trees and a couple of deadfalls. You could stop the wagon.
No. We're stopping the wagon. We're
Okay.
Taking cover while prone is an action.
Taking cover. Well, yeah.
Once you're prone, that you take an action to get. It's like a shield.
Yeah.
Action.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get a +4 to AC against ranged attacks.
Cool. So give me a knowledge nature check. I think is to handle animal.
Oh my. Do I get a +2 on this because I got the thing on?
Yeah,
the guy?
you got the bell on the lead draft horse. So
That dang ain't take no shit from no one. Shit from me.
you were also announcing you're coming. You're like
We're like
Critical
an
success.
oh, critical success. So where do you want the horses to stop? Do you want to ride forward the maximum 20 feet to kind of get away from the knolls a little bit, or do you want to stop on a dime, basically?
We're gonna stop on a dime.
Okay.
I think Krieger wants to say hello.
Okay, so you just pull the brake and pull the horses, and the whole thing is kind of on its springs and sort of jumping around, and it is now a platform of doom. So that was one action.
That was one action. All right, we're going to put up a shield,
Okay, you quickly intone a magical spell, and your shield spell is up.
and we're gonna take cover in our prone.
Ugh.
Duck.
Good. Oscar, what'd you do? this Noel is trying to feed you a battle axe.
What's wrong with you? Oscar will stand from prone,
Okay, that incurs no AOO from the Noel.
and then we're gonna start. I guess we'll draw our magic rapier,
Goes flying out of its sheath.
because I don't think I've got quick draw yet. I think I get that at 4th.
The Noel, you recognize greed when the Noel looks at your beautiful blade with the arcane.
Hey, what's mine is mine. I'll take your tunic, though. We're gonna have Etchy with a rapier. 1d20 plus 10. AC 12.
12, your two weapons are now slashing and poking against each other, and you are in a rapier fight with a gnoll. Bone Crusher.
Get out, or get up.
Stand from prone, open the door, and then you could move out.
Yeah, he's gonna flank with Oscar.
Oh, you're fucked now!